Welcome back to the JT Music Podcast. I'm Skullcruncher.
And I'm Pat. I won't do the voice. I'm sorry. This is JTKY. What's like
JTKY. Boo, boo, boo. You're tuned again. This is episode 3
of our JT Music Podcast, and I imagine this will be a lot of the firsts that people listen to, particularly people who went to NPC, or I imagine a handful of our peers will probably listen to this to see the different perspective or hear anything. I mean, I would do the same.
Or just because you're bored and you want to listen to two dinguses talk about YouTube.
Or this is your third JT Music Podcast. But this will be all NPC focused. As the title will say, it's NPC in review.
What about people who don't know what NPC is, Pat fan?
Quick crash course on NPC. It is Nerdcore Party Con. It is more of a music fan fest than a convention or a concert. But it was a weekend event that we have done. We've done it a few times now, and it's where all the nerdcore artists we can get under one roof to hang out and meet and greet and perform music for you, the live audience, and we streamed it this year.
And this year was the biggest year yet. Out of all 3 years we've done it, had to take like a 2-year hiatus thanks to COVID.
Yep. So I guess crash course history on Nerdcore PartyCon. So this was an idea I had for a while, and then our buddies at Rocket Gaming had shared the fact that they also had this idea. So we both had this kind of converging idea, and what better way to do it than to work together. And so the first one was kind of super proof of concept. We took baby steps with this thing, and it was us and 8 other channels met at an Airbnb in Austin, Texas, and we just hung out and partied, as the name implies, Nerdcore PartyCon. It was ourselves, Zach B, Bone Cage, Fable, Ben Schuler, Rocket Gaming, Game Boy Jones, Dan Bull. And I'm super sorry if I forgot, but I think that's everyone. And that was a special weekend that, the people who were there for that time are, that's something we hold dearly. It
was the first time we had met Rocket Gaming before, but our first time meeting most of our nerdcore contemporaries, and it was like a family reunion.
Yeah, it's like we had all known each other. It was a reunion. It was like a high school reunion, and it's so cool that, with these shared experiences we have with, content creation and music for 95% of people there, pretty much everyone besides me, all these things the bond over is just streamlines this kind of friendship making kind of and camaraderie and just hanging out, and that was the takeaway. I was like, oh my god, we can get along, and we get along smashingly, and the friendships and the things that were forged on that NPC have gone forward from there. And then we also did a meet and greet at some pizza joint off of some highway in Austin, and 20 people came out, and it was a great kind of fun time hanging out and interacting with fans. And there was a father and son who went and who have been to every single NPC from then on.
Shout out to Brock and Dane.
Indeed. So
we love them. We see them all the time. They're basically family now.
Yeah, the NPC's biggest fans. And then so fast forward, not even a whole year. Because we did that in October, and then we did the next NPC 2019 in August of 2019.
And
so it was 2018, 2019.
First year that it was an actual show. We were out in the back of this like little art venue, wasn't it?
It was like a studio for modeling, essentially.
Yeah,
but it was like a blank canvas. Was
nothing like a concert space or convention space, just this little building. We set up a tent in the back. I think it actually did rain a little bit, didn't it?
We had a little stage, basic speaker setup. We had a little hall area inside with drinks and merch, meet and greet space. Only 100 fans came out, and it was a nice, intimate event. People loved it. I think the retention of those people coming back to the next one, to the one this year, was like 60%, which is 60 people, which is crazy.
Yeah.
People loved it, and that's in like a lot of Nashville, Tennessee natives, and it didn't matter. They went to the one in Chicago regardless, which is really sick. But that was a fun event. But it was super. It was the beta, is what I said at the very beginning, and I emceed that show, and that's what I said. We're all gamers here, and guys, this is the beta, and next year will be the full release, and I think that's what happened, and pretty fucking cool how it happened.
It ramped up so much from 2019 to 2022, and expected more hiccups along the way, but this year it went just about as smoothly and perfectly as it could have. And it was if 2019 was the beta, this was a full-on legitimate show. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen some of the clips from the concert. Not only did the concert look and sound good just being there, but the live stream, the audio was so good. Wow, where to begin?
The audio, I mean, the live stream thing was, we wanted to do that to reach more of an audience. And ulterior motive was to get footage for promotional materials and stuff, because we knew that they would capture that. We could keep the VOD. But we didn't know it'd just blow the fucking lights off, or the lights off the building, or doors off the building, or whatever the expression is. Like, it looks and sounds incredible. Mm-hmm. And, that is really cool. And everyone's been just basking in the footage of how cool that moment was for each and every one that went on stage, because it looks sick. I mean, it's a world-class production by the people at Audio Tree and Lincoln Hall, the venue. Audio Tree, the kind of production company that streamed it. But if you guys have seen it, that's what you've been seeing, is that footage, and it's insane. Yeah,
all that hard work. Yeah, especially you, dude.
Russell and I, and then you and Vinny in support. It's a team effort for sure.
I showed up. I knew my lyrics. I didn't forget them. I ran out of breath a few times. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like I can listen to myself rap all day, but in a recorded context, it's different. Like, I have a hard time watching myself live, especially watching myself talk. But watching myself live, I was really nervous for myself. But I am basking in a lot of that footage. Sure, there were a couple moments, like I said, where I messed up, ran out of breath or whatever.
I've watched it, and many times there's nothing to be embarrassed about or self-conscious about or whatever.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is it's a testament as somebody who gets unreasonably self-conscious. Even when I watched the footage, I was like, oh my, like in 2019, I watched my footage, listened to my audio, and was like, okay, it doesn't sound great, but it's about what I expected for the event. But this year, it was like, oh crap, I like look and sound like good. The mix is amazing. And again, let alone, that's just like from the VOD. Like the show itself was like, and the audience, oh my God, dude.
You can't replace being there in person.
The crowd was...
we were worried about streaming it. I was like, because it's like kind of like you had to be there kind of thing only, and like the exclusivity. And, even the encore song Tribute isn't entirely... It isn't uncalculated. It's like... because that whole song is about the best song in the world, and you kind of had to be there for it, and so, streaming it kind of clashed with that idea, but it doesn't matter. Like being there, being in that room with the energy and the love, I don't know, it's magical, and everyone felt it that night. Just sharing space with other humans, the creators and the audience alike. It was incredible. Yeah.
And also a huge part of this event is the fan meetup and interaction for us and for the fans, obviously, is like getting to hang out. And I mean, hopefully the event is going to grow. That's the plan. It grows. But right now it's at such a nice...
It's a good size.
It's at such a nice size that you can still have these intimate conversations with fans, which was super... I mean, that it's so rewarding. Like we all talk about it. All of us, the nerdcore, the content creators, we all talk about how, like, even if you get a video with 1 million views, 10 million views, it's still just a number on a screen. You can read all the comments, but it's still just like there's this barrier, as opposed to when you get to meet fans, you get to see the effect you have on them. The coolest moment for me was when those couple moments where I ran out of breath. I've told you this many times. I ran out of breath, or I slipped up on a line, and I could, like, in the middle of like Song for Daisy or Daddy's Home, which are popular songs, but not bangers like Cuphead or Bendy, slipping up with some lyrics at a point where I wouldn't expect the audience to know it, and I could hear all the people right in front of me, like almost all of them rapping. And that was like, whoa, like that this is the reason I make music. It was incredible. Made me so grateful for this platform we have, for all the hard work that you and Russell and Vinny poured into this event. It was like, not to mention how many moments I had where I just kind of took a step back, like, holy crap, this is all from this YouTube channel that me and John started. Like that. Yeah.
It feels like a dream. That weekend still feels like a dream.
Yeah.
like that is like I don't know if that's the right expression, like the kind of postpartum depression, you know, of like we've had it before with like music video shoots where we've gone and traveled and we've been with people and it's like such a little island and a super shared experience and the camaraderie's there. When you get home, you're just sad, you're bummed, like you're whatever. And it hasn't hit me yet, and I keep looking back and I think it's because it doesn't feel real, because it just went so well with all the angst and all the anxiety around it, you know, and it went so well, and it was such a good time that it, you know, I don't know, it's not even like it doesn't feel like me as an individual and the experiences I had that came from this. It's like I don't even know if I deserve this. How good I feel. It's hard to, I don't know.
Don't let the imposter syndrome creep in.
It's not even an imposter syndrome. It's just like this feels like it's just a very sustained high, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
And so it feels unreal, I guess, to that degree. But
yeah, I remember when we first went out on stage, I think I said something like, this is like a dream. Like, I can't believe you're all here. I wasn't even like scared or daunted by the audience. I think it was when we were greeting them, but I was just like, my brain, like, I still couldn't really believe that it had grown that much. Not to mention, not the crowd and the energy of the crowd, but just the venue we were in. We were in such a nice venue. Lincoln Hall is like, apparently, I didn't realize how like renowned Lincoln Hall is. So I get to say I rapped on Lincoln Hall stage. You get to say you ran a successful event at Lincoln Hall, which is incredible.
It was wonderful, and we'll kind of chronologically talk about the weekend in a second, but I forgot what I was gonna say. So one of the takeaways that we probably will have our debrief call with the Rocket guys tonight, but I think we're already like feeling like having the 6 hours of meet and greet before the show kind of drained a lot of people's voices. But the only unfortunate thing is the fact that we got to see those faces and know those faces was such a fun ripple in the show, and seeing people, and you could pick them out in the crowd, you know, the conversations you had. And I know that was special for them because they had got to meet you or get to know you, the artist. So, you know, that was a cool and special thing that, you know, if for some reason, if the meet and greet is before, it'll be 3 hours and it'll only be a smaller group of people. And that's the only way it happened before. But otherwise it would be after. But that was a cool special wrinkle into the way that this weekend was formatted for sure. But it did come with a price. Prime example, Will DA Games.
He lost his voice. I don't know how he was doing it. He was still belting out towards the end.
Hopefully no permanent damage. Austin, I think he tweeted. But like had to go get the throat checked out.
Wow.
So hopefully no permanent damage from having to perform and talk. So that is something we're factoring in for the artists out there listening, that we're gonna
maybe next year because I know there's a handful of us in the nerdcore community who did not get proper vocal training, like using your head voice or your throat when you're supposed to project from your diaphragm. Like there's things that I don't do. I did theater in high school but didn't take voice lessons. I know there's a way you can talk that doesn't strain your voice, because I had a friend who was an opera singer, and when he would speak normally, he would speak like this. So maybe we can do a vocal lesson before the meetup or something, so we don't lose our voices, because there is a way to save your voice. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's
everyone at the meet and greet, if we do it before, is just talking like news anchors.
Everyone's talking like this as to not strain their voice. It is nice to meet you.
If Dan Bull comes out next year, he'll have no problem doing that. He'll love it.
He loves doing the reporter voice.
This in terms of this week or the week leading up, it was kind of just stuffing loot bags for the general admission and the VIPs, and then getting all that stuff wrangled. You know, Fable, Rocket, Stupendium, all had their merch sent to us, and with that we rented a car and drove from Raleigh, North Carolina to Chicago in a Chevy Suburban, a nice new one. And it's not even the luxury. I think the Cadillac Escalades are the luxury rental cars. But with that said, the Chevy Suburban was such a comfortable ride. Yeah,
it was great. That whole trip went pretty quickly. We split it up into 2 days, but we did it. We crushed that.
Yeah, so we stopped in a 5-hour leg to West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, the capital of the city. Very interesting to see the city there and see the towns. They're like very narrow town splitting a river because it's the Appalachian Mountains, and just interesting how long and skinny the cities and towns are. And that's old Appalachia for you.
Yep.
And then
the next day was just across the plains.
Yeah. We hit both extremes. We had the little Appalachian Mountains, however you want to say it. And then we went right to just corn country,
which was pretty miserable, but we kept ourselves entertained.
Yeah, it was a tough drive riding through Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. Actually, we were barely in Illinois, but Indiana and Ohio were tough. Particularly what was really fucking frustrating about driving in Indiana is the trucks can drive in the left lane, and they love to pass, and they love to not really pass. So that's just, between us, we get some road rage, and that was like a prime bait for some rage.
So many tractor trailer trucks all over. But
we got in to Chicago like 4 p.m. that day, and I think we pretty much just went right to meeting up with people. We
met up with Rustage, the Rocket Boys, Divide,
and our director buddy Patrick.
Yep.
Who they were in town filming the doc. So part of that too is obviously we've been a part of the doc, but I was like, I'm working the event, so I can't focus on this. And they were like, oh, totally. And so we had a bunch of prep meetings, and so I kind of pre-directed and gave some direction on things that could happen, the way that a day was going on, potential moments, and then they took it and were able to kind of let me do my thing, and they had everything they needed. So that was cool. But we hung out with Patrick, Rustage, Divide, and the Rocket Gaming guys, and that was fun. And we kind of walked around, saw the city a little bit. We lost Rustage at a Walgreens, and we
had stogies.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We went to a cigar lounge, and we were just goofing around. And even the old guys there with this big group of nerds goofing around, that were like cracking up at the jokes we were making and stuff.
It was a good time. It was fun to hang out with Patrick and the Rocket guys all the time, but it's good to hang out with Alex from Divide. Alex from Divide. I mean, he is Divide. Alex from Divide Music. It's good to hang out with him. It had been since the Fortnite music video. So, and Fable we had seen a handful of times, but like Alex had been a minute, so that was really cool. Wow. Awesome, very friendly guy. I'm sure anyone who met him knows that. Yeah. But that was really cool. And then some people started filtering in, but what did we do the rest of that night?
I don't know.
This was Wednesday.
We went and got
night.
Pizza. We got deep dish and got regular pizza as well. And then
that was Thursday, the night everyone came in.
Did you guys go to karaoke that night?
Yeah, so on Thursday, the day before the event officially, so the day was Friday, Saturday, we ran around and did something. So we went to the venue and set up the computer. Russell and I went to go to grab the computer. So we had Tiny Build sponsoring the event, and so we got a demo station computer, which is kind of challenging to set up with how far with the situation. And so in hindsight, because we drove, I could have ordered it here and stuff, but whatever. We picked up from Russell's friend, and the monitor was just not there. They said it had been delivered, and it wasn't Russell's friend's fault. It was just Amazon. But so we had to scramble around and get that, and then we set up the venue for the meet and greet venue,
which was at like a barcade.
Yeah, Emporium.
The Emporium, which
bar
was
and arcade.
Perfect place.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so cool.
But then that night we did a welcome. So after we set up at the Emporium, we just kind of went back and we had a welcome party with everyone, and we got deep dish pizza. And there's this Ambassador Hotel. I can spill the beans now because we're not there, but that's where we stayed, and had a nice area to the right where we rented it, and we had the whole section to ourselves, and that was great. The documentary crew was pulling people aside all night for interviews, like Rustard, Zach, Daddy Fat Snaps, Alex, Cam Steady. Like almost everyone got pulled over CG5 to get interviewed by Patrick and the teams. We got a bunch of nerdcore artist interviews, and then we just hung out and ate pizza, and that was kind of it. We did we had a moment where like, okay, let's do a little welcome speech, and we're like, hey, everybody, we're speaking, and everyone thought we were taking a picture, and we didn't understand that they thought we all like, and so they came right up to our faces, like, right, like all the artists and performers and plus ones, and we're just like, whoa, hold on, guys. We're not doing a picture. Take a step back. We never did a group picture. That would have been a nice thing to do. But that was just a funny moment. And Russell just maybe tipsy, but just dropping F-bombs.
Oh, Russell was more than tipsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good hyped up speech. It was fun.
It was a very good speech. I came to a realization this weekend that Russell is a high intensity guy. You know, he goes hard. He's a very high intensity guy. And
did you just get that realization?
Watching him, well, no, this is what I realized this weekend. It's that watching Russell interact with like wait staff, bartenders, other people in general, his if he's a D&D character, his charisma rolls with people are very split 50-50, but Russell's charisma rolls with a crowd 100%.
With advantage.
He's so good with a crowd. He's very good at like speaking to a big group, which it was just a great little opening speech.
Yeah, skipping ahead, but before, I think it was when we came out to announce JT Music, me and Russell. I don't know, it was me and Russell, and he said something. He was like, "Who?" And all of a sudden, everyone in the audience just started barking. He's like, "What the hell?" And he barked, and they just started barking more. It's. I think it's part of the JT Music set. If you want to look at it in the full video stream run through.
It was right before I came out. Yeah.
But that night was pretty chill, hanging out with everyone. But there was an after
karaoke party.
Yeah, a group of us went out to the karaoke bar, and it was like a lot of the. There wasn't any stratification, no clickiness, which is awesome. But there is a stratification if you look at the people there in age. Like there's definitely a group of people who are under 25, and there's a group of people who are over 30. So there's like a weird 5-year gap, more or less. And I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't actually know everyone's age, but that's what it feels like. But there was plus 30 people and like Cam that went out to the karaoke bar, and we're all like looking around like, look at all of us. Like it was like a look at us, like all the young kids. They're sleeping. Look who's out here. It's just like such a cheesy,
and that was
like whatever. But Cam and Nem were doing some Eminem karaoke, and then Game Boy Jones went up and did some Eminem, and then I think it was an Eminem song. But then Will went up and did that. I believe in a thing.
I believe in a thing called love. Yeah, and that was the moment he fucked his voice.
Yeah, he lost his voice on the meet and greet, sure, but that's where he fucked it. And he just was wailing, and I have a video of it. And it makes me laugh so hard because he's just going hard like 2 days before a concert.
I don't know how.
Drunkenly at karaoke night.
No.
But then shortly after, like, oh man, maybe we are old, and we all went to bed shortly after. Yeah. But that was a fun night. Very, very, very chill, and much more to come. Much more awesome stuff to come. So the next day was the meet and greet at Emporium, which by the way, Barcade is trademarked. So. Our bar arcades, there's only one barcade.
Oh, it's like a brand, or it's
when I was like
an entity.
Yeah, because Emporium sales manager or whatever, he was like looking at the sign. He's like, everything looks good, but just say Emporium Bar and Arcade because the barcade gets really weird about that. I was like, huh.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of shitty that they monopolize that term.
That is pretty.
But anyways, so at the Emporium Bar and Arcade at Wicker Park. We set up. It's a pretty cool venue spot. It's a bar, really. It's just a video game themed bar with some arcades, but it's like two sides, with arcade games in both sides. A stage on one, which you didn't use the stage because we were originally going to do Q&As and kind of do some stuff on stage, even Jackbox. But you guys wanted to meet us, and people wanted to meet us, and that was priority number one. So we actually preemptively like, you know what, people want to hang out and talk to us, and that's honestly what I would rather do. Myself there than have to go on stage and I mean the Q&A is fun. I would love to answer questions directly, but that's going to happen ultimately.
It felt more intimate this way. You get to actually talk to people, and it was just a good idea to get rid of the Q&A section, just have people hang out. It was just the right amount of people. My only concern about that day was like how, because we had the VIP come in first, and then they left, and then the general admission came in. I was worried how that was going to work, or I wasn't that worried, but that was my biggest concern, and it ended up going smoothly. There's
some VIPs who wanted to stay, and they would ask me, I'm like, feel it out, if it's not insanely crowded, hang around, or go get food and come back at the tail end of this GA thing, the general admission session. But it never got super, super unbearably busy, which was a worry of mine.
Yeah.
And we had, for kind of backtracking, so we had the VIPs come in for a session of meet and greets which is just hanging out in the bar, open season. Everyone's hanging around, mingling. And they were there for 2.5 hours. And that part of that was also their registration. So they registered and then came in all at once. And then we had a half-hour break or half-hour kind of layover. And then the general admission came in. And that was about 300 people who came in and registered too. And they had 3 hours. And we gave them 3 hours because there was that registration time. It's at the same time. So it balances out. And it felt just right. And no one had any issues with it.
Yeah.
But that's how it went in terms of logistically. And it was, I was so nervous. I was pacing around, making sure everyone was getting their badges in terms of talent and giving them their like Sharpies so they could sign, because I just that was going to happen, and it's so much easier if you just have it.
Yeah.
But then after about half hour in, I kind of settled. I was like, okay, this is going to be all right.
It doesn't feel like 400 people cycled through because of how smoothly it went.
Yeah.
I guess people must have just been filtering out after they met people and got autographs. So it just, it was incredible how smoothly it went.
Never hit an unbearable moment.
Yeah. Apparently the line, I didn't get to see the line, but apparently it was out, like wrapped around the block,
which is
very cool.
So cool. It is. That's such a cool feeling to, like, if you book it, they will come. Like, there's so much more to that. But that felt like they're all here to see us, and they're all here because we all did this together, and everything's accumulated at this point.
I'd
for
imagine
each channel, and that was neat.
That must have been a really cool feeling for you, especially because of the amount of work you put in, like all the prepping. It's all this stuff, just phone calls and emails, but then you get to the place and you're like, this is where the rubber meets the road. Like this is where it happens. And then seeing all the people.
Russell ran around recording a video of everyone, like hyping them up. He ran to some woman. But that was there when they were joking about it, but she was not happy at the moment. But just so funny. Russell
was she there for the event? Or?
Yeah, she was there.
Oh, gotcha.
It sounds like she was there because her friend or boyfriend I don't know. The person she was with, it sounds like he dragged her here. So it's funny that it's not funny, but it's just like, of course, getting dragged to this thing, and then some Fred Durst looking dude runs into me. The event. I mean, after I let myself settle down, and the volunteers that we had, Rick, Sloan, and Davis were handling the registration, and once I felt like they were good, and they came to me for a couple weird situations. Like, there's a group of VIPs, and they have one general mission with them, and I was like, not going to be a dick about it, and like, okay, come on in.
Yeah.
Like few things they ran out to find me for, but besides that, it was super smooth, and I was able to enjoy myself and hang out with fans and do meet and greets, which is really nice. Because I was pretty uptight and nervous about it, and then I let go and trusted them to do it, and then they did flawlessly with it. So big thanks to our volunteers, Sloan, Rick, and Davis. So you guys really made this is just day one, but you got and then day two, you guys really. I'm super thankful. Speaking to them, that I was able to enjoy this too. Yeah. Even if it went off super successfully, but if I was running around with like a chicken with its head cut off, I don't know how much I would have been able to enjoy it. So I credit, personally speaking, that's what they were able to help me do on top of work the event, but enjoy it. So volunteers are sick. Definitely just something I need to do for next year. Also, is just get more help and all that. So
because it's gonna grow.
Yeah. But I mean, some awesome fan interactions, meeting people like old and familiar old as in familiar faces.
Got to see a bunch of people from NPC 2019.
Some people that came to we did a little tour. We sold like 15 tickets and showed people and did a bar crawl of our music video sets. And so there's people from those that were there.
Yeah, there were not just from 2019 NPC. There were like familiar faces from the community, from like the nerdcore
people that we recognize from Twitter.
Yeah. It was incredible.
Just some funny interactions too. This one kid, so much energy.
Cannon.
He ran around and he just ran and said, "Hey, Dad," to you, and it's just like,
"Dad!" I heard somebody yell, and I thought it was directed at me, calling me Dad. And I look, and there's this super hype. Like, he must have been, I don't know, like 13, 14, something like that. He's just like, "Dad, what's up?" Gave me a big hug. I was like, this 14-year-old has serious dad energy, but I love it.
He was awesome. He had a very infectious energy. So that was cool.
He was funny. I got to talk to a few fans that asked me about sobriety and stuff, which was really refreshing. Just I have no issues talking about my sobriety journey, so that was really cool. That was really refreshing.
Yeah. We played foosball against I think he was 6 years old and his older brother was 19, so it was like quite the disparity. But in terms of like a kid came over and had a coin, so will you play foosball with me or play air hockey with me? And that table was taken. But that was just such a cool moment of, I don't know, just being able to be that or do that. I mean, I don't know if I was 6 or 7 or 8 and I saw someone I don't know, it felt very special, I guess, and very humbling and I don't know, even like taking a picture with a younger guy that I had to take a knee with. It was like, I don't know, it was a cool moment of just feeling very humble, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. It was cool.
It's just cool.
It's cool to see what it means to people.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And to be there to show them that you're grateful for it, I guess, you know, and any little thing like a picture. I'll go play air hockey with you. Sure. I kept scoring the goals on him and I wasn't trying. He didn't care. He was having the best time of his life, but, I don't know. That was fun. There
was some cool fan art we got. This one girl painted a little JT logo on a little canvas. And another girl drew all like the faces of all the nerdcore people, which almost made me cry. And then this other girl who was synesthetic. If you don't know what synesthesia is, it's where you have cross-sensory perception. So like a common thing is people will be able to see sound, like they see colors with sound. And this girl drew what the sound of, what song was it? Was it a
FNAF song?
It might have been a FNAF song. Oh, what was it? Crap, I forget. But she drew what the sound of a certain song, JT Music song was, which was really cool. And she also she drew a bunch of another picture of all the nerdcore people and colored them what she sees their voices as. So like the color of my voice was like orange and green.
Yeah, they were also colorblind too.
And so that's colorblind.
And I think I was pink and green.
Yeah,
predominantly pink and green.
When I saw the color of my voice, I don't know why, that hit me really hard and almost made me cry. I was like, oh my goodness, this is what she sees as my voice. And I was like, I had to like really pull it together. I was like, okay, we're good. We don't cry up in here. We don't cry.
Yeah, there's moments, and I kept like, for me, when I cry, I don't stop, and it's like it's super irrational how much, like, I don't know. My brother's wedding, gave a speech and mentioned some sappy things, I guess you could say, and I just couldn't stop crying. People would come up and say great speech, and it would just re-trigger the crying. It's like, gosh, I need to stop. Like I don't know. Anyways, I had to keep it under check, as if I did in some of these scenarios. You know, like, I mean, skipping ahead, when you were just like saying like, I love you, man, my best friend, thank you so much, all these things. We went in for the hug. I was like, all right, I'll love you too. And I walked out because I just like, if I stood out there any longer, I would have cried.
I almost did too, but what kept me in check was, I have to perform another song. Okay, here we go. You're
singing BioShock crying.
Well, at some point I wanted to be like, because like Pat Van is not always he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes, not just for our business, obviously, but also this event. And I think I know a lot of people are going to show up, and not to anybody's fault, but a lot of people would show up and just think, oh, this is a cool event, and not know all the hard work. And, you know, I only saw a fraction of the blood, sweat, and tears you poured into it. So at some point I wanted to say that. I was like, I gotta get in the, but it made me emotional too. So, and you had said there were just so many moments of like, just feeling grateful for what we have. Yeah. Like it was, dude.
It was awesome.
It was unreal.
Going back to the meet and greet.
Yeah, the meet and greet.
Yes. Also trying to end that before I think too much and get too emotional. Mm-hmm. The meet and greet was amazing. There was some special moments. I won't get in too much, but it, like, seeing like one artist who was there stepped up, and it was so humbling and awesome to see them interact and step into a situation where it's just super helpful and unique. And I don't want to get into it too much, but
yeah, we don't have to go into detail, but there was like that
was a very touching moment, I guess, in the sense of how they stepped up. And there's one fan there that was very helpful as well, and
yeah,
she was wonderful.
Yeah, there was a moment with a brief medical emergency, and one of the nerdcore guys stepped up and was able. There was a communication issue, and it turned in what started as a scary moment turned into a really beautiful, touching moment, and just further cemented how great this community is and how great community. By community, I mean both the fans and the talent.
I think the sense of community is here and has been here, but it's a little bit different than, say, for a long-form personality-based channel. I don't know, the first thing that comes, anything from Rooster Teeth or even Game Grumps, like those kind of guys, or just anything like that. The sense of community around them is so easy because the parasocial scenario of content and that hanging out is there, baked into their content with the Let's Plays and what have you, and with us, it's all music videos. So you either have to engage with the community directly where they are and go in person, on Discord, on Facebook groups, whatever it is, or you have to make different content adjacent to your music, such as Let's Plays as well.
Yeah.
And so that's to say, to build the community in this way and to go and find it and merge it, merge different communities is really cool and really rewarding, because it's something that we've struggled to do with, even with our channel size, is to find that and make it happen, because at a majority, the audience is very passive. It's music, listening to music, but there is a dedicated core there. And that's why we recognize them, even before we've met them, like Tay Patterson, for example, like been a super fan for years, know the face, and we see her and we know her, it's happened many times before with a fan named Cole. And there's tons of faces that we know, just like that core is there. And that's what I think NPC represents. And it's bringing these amazing people all together with these artists, and everyone just gets along so well. The love and positivity was insane. And it was just good and happy. I don't know. It was like that sublime part of like the best part of the night at a party or something, where everything is just good and everyone's just happy and everything's where it needs to be. No one's thinking about the future. No one's thinking about, like, that's just what it felt like the whole weekend. It was just like peak good feelings.
It also, there were so many comments from fans about how all of the nerdcore guys and girls, there are girls there too, can't exclude the ladies, shout out Oreo and Chi-Chi, we're talking about how all the nerdcore people were so nice and so friendly, and it was like a nice little moment of, well, yeah, we invited all these people, and I consider us pretty decent dudes. We wouldn't have invited people who were shitty, so an added level to the already great experience is that we've got some big personalities, but we don't have any like real hardcore divas or jerks or assholes.
Yeah,
like everybody.
The whole thing started.
It was the party without the douchebag, like you were
saying. Yeah, you're right.
It's like that, the good party vibes for the whole weekend.
Yeah, and there's no bad seeds anywhere, and that's, statistically 400 people. But there wasn't. Everyone was wonderful, and I wasn't expecting someone not to be necessarily, but it's just like, it was truly just like awesome and sublime, and nothing ever was like, there was no issues caused by people, which was nice. You have a lot of people with a lot of needs and expectations. People paid to be here. People traveled, all these different things, and everyone was happy and seemed to have their expectations met, which is just a terrifying thing, when you're selling an event. And it is what we said it would be, that's what we were aiming to be, but that's a fear, of like not meeting expectations. But I think we set them and we delivered, which is nice. And it was mostly calculated, just because we wanted to make sure we could fulfill what we could do and honor our word. And I think that went a long way. I mean, I don't think we didn't overpromise and we didn't underpromise. We did what we said.
Yeah.
And that was nice. I guess, I don't know. There's something there because there's always underpromise, overdeliver, but maybe just reasonably promise and very well deliver.
Yeah.
You can still get delight and customer satisfaction that way.
Yeah. So then
that meet and greet was great.
It was amazing. Then we went back to the hotel and had another powwow night with just the talent, and we did a little run through rehearsal.
Yeah. So at NPC 2019 in Nashville, we weren't gonna do a rehearsal, but it just kind of organically happened in the kitchen of this Airbnb, and everyone was just rapping at the end of this table, and like, someone even like stood up on the table and pretended it was like a stage, and I don't know, it's just a fun organic thing.
It was a good way to get psyched up for the show, and everybody got to do one song.
I think everyone got to do one song, and I think it was great to familiarize with each and everyone's performance, everyone's music, and that was really cool. Just kind of a way to hype up and get familiar with the show, any nerves.
I forgot.
Super. Like, there's a lot of camaraderie there. There's like people cheering and chanting and clapping just in this little rehearsal space.
And you know what I like about it? It's so much scarier performing in front of a small group of your contemporaries than it is in front of a huge group. Because if you're around your contemporaries, you all do the same thing. You're all going to be more critical of each other. And it's a smaller, more intimate crowd, so you can see faces more directly. So it's actually a really good way to get warmed up for the show. I think I was more nervous before performing in front of that group than I was in front of the crowd. Forgot like most of the lyrics to Mortal Kombat. Forgot some of my lyrics to the Doom rap, which were the two that I rehearsed. But I honestly think it's because I had more nerves being in front of those people. Like I didn't forget any lyrics when I actually performed. I lost my breath a couple times. Yeah. But yeah, it was great. A great way to get warmed up for the show. Like you said, introduce everybody to each other's music, see how wildly different all the styles were.
We got Russell and I went to a Best Buy, and we got a little Bluetooth speaker, and was like, oh, and the Best Buy it was loud as fuck. I was like, hell yeah, this is perfect. It's like $50. It's loud. We tested it, and it was so quiet.
Yep.
And then Ben from Nerd Out had a little JBC or JVC, whatever those like bigger Bluetooth speakers are, and that was marginally louder. But I think it didn't matter because it was ultimately just to do a run through and to get the run of like the order of the acts out. But it's just a funny little kind of dinky thing. Mm-hmm. But then that was the rehearsal. We took that day relatively easy. Like I don't think anyone was drinking a lot or partying a lot. It was pretty much exactly what it needed to be, hanging out, getting ready for the day. And then
performance day.
Yeah. It started off, I think everyone had the same energy of excitement and anticipation. Everyone was hounding and finding like cough drops and throat spray, vocal warm-ups, tea, honey, like that stuff was being like, there was a definite spike in the local economy of those things in that Chicago area from these nerdcore artists.
My voice was really hoarse that morning just from the fan meetup, just from talking to people. And dude, the tea really helped a lot. I thought it was going to be just like marginal, but it actually helped a lot. Like all the cough drops, I was pumping them back. The table in the green room was just full of tea and honey, which was hilarious. Instead of like drinks and White Claws, it was just tea. And you hear it. Yeah.
We rolled up to the venue, us and Rocket and the volunteers, and we just began prepping the event in the space, putting up the banners and the posters, working with the venue, making sure everything's the way it needs to be. There's a last minute decision. We were gonna have the projector over the stage and have like the performer's logo loop, but then the documentary crew actually was like, these lights look sick. We should just remove you guys. This is what we are saying as a document, like as a camera crew, visually, it would look cool without it. And we're like, yeah. Let's drop it. And we dropped the projector, only used it for the intro and
they were so
and the intermission, and that elevated the show into a whole new level. It was a nice touch. And then just doing sound check. Everyone had 1 to 2 songs on stage, full sound and lights, kind of a fun warm up. The sound engineers were testing things, and the VIPs actually got to come in and catch a few songs. We actually crushed through sound. What's the word?
Sound check.
Sound check.
Yeah.
Way faster than we thought. So we ended up 15 minutes early with that. But then, we're hanging around for an hour and a half until the show started, where general admission came in at 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
I wanted to hang out with general admission like before the show started, but I couldn't because I wanted to save my voice. And I went out. I was going to mingle for a little bit, I think, with the VIPs when the VIPs came. Went out, talked to a couple fans, already felt my voice getting hoarse. My voice, especially in a crowded room, does not cut through like muffled sound. So I have to really push, and that strains my voice. So I was like, fuck, I want to go hang out, but I had to go back and just drink a bunch of tea, get my voice rested. Because that definitely hurt me when I had to sing some of the low stuff in Bendy, but it's okay. But yeah, it was, fans came in, started getting hyped for the show. It was really cool hearing people like screaming when the countdown started.
Oh yeah. Well, people are cheering NPC and all these different things. And it was just like all these organic things they were doing. And it felt so cool to see it just happen. It was, I mean, it showed the passion was there, and I don't know. As the heavens are falling above, so the rain's coming in. So if you hear that,
just a little rain.
Yeah, it always rains when we record one of these, which is funny. But I mean, there's so much to say about the show. We've touched on a lot of it, but I mean, everyone brought the best they had, and with the best they had, everyone just killed it. Everyone killed it. It was so fun to run around backstage and find everyone and get them set up and give it like just the love and the support of like, you just fucking killed it, dude. Like, and just sharing those moments with everyone was so cool, and the happiness and the love and around that was going around everywhere was awesome.
My dad would have been so proud of you, because my dad does event planning for a living. My dad is he's a director of sales for a hotel, but also does a lot of weddings and events. My dad knows how to run an event, and sure, you have a little event experience, but you didn't like go to school for it or anything. Like, you're not an event coordinator by trade, but you wouldn't have known it at that event. This guy was just like making sure all the artists were there. You're running around finding everybody, but I mean, most people were in the places they need to be, but like you were making sure, and that was incredible. And that is an art and a craft in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to take a lot of credit. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm saying it looks like I take all the praise and thanks, but a lot of it was a lot of awesome people helping out. Yeah. The volunteers were, like I said earlier, extremely helpful, allowed me to do everything on the back half of the venue physically, like the kind of stage managing and relaying and like sending Russell and communicating with Russell with the sound booth or whatever the pit, I don't know what they call that, where they're mixing and keeping everything going live. Yeah. And then the bar manager was good working with us. And then all the, like you said, all the talent, they were on top of it. I didn't have to wrangle or go finding anyone. Everyone was on top of their game. They're all professionals. Not everyone had performed like this before, but you wouldn't have guessed it. Everyone was super, super awesome behind stage and working with the show and getting things in place and being in the right places.
Another cool moment that I really liked was like a couple times the people working at Lincoln Hall doing the sound said, one of the guys was like, I was really impressed. I heard from a couple people, they were impressed with just the overall quality of the music, which was really cool. And another reminder that, like, because for me at least, sometimes it feels like, I'm making this dinky nerdcore music, like this is our full-time job, so by the nature of that, I am a professional musician. But it's weird to think like that sometimes, that all of us are professional musicians, like, and not that I don't take it seriously, but it was just a cool moment of like, this outside person who doesn't know nerdcore, didn't know about it before that day, was like, that was nowhere near, that was way better than I thought it was going to be. Just the quality of the music, which was just, again, another cool moment of like, whoa, we're straight up legit professional musicians. I've heard that some people were saying that some of the most of the show performances were better than like professional industry standard musicians, which was just really cool.
Everything sounded awesome. I just don't have the expert ear for that, but I can say for a fact every single person that performed has better stage presence and character on stage than half the like big acts I've seen, like that I've gone to see in concert, like, which is incredible for that, just engaging and being fun and passionate and just putting on a good show. You know, everyone was awesome on stage.
Especially the guys who have experience doing performing live, like Rustage, Cam Steady, Game Boy Jones, Schwabity. Like you can tell everybody did an amazing job, but you can tell the people who have had time on stage and know how to control a crowd, which was really cool and also inspiring to me. Like I've never, and still, like, performing live isn't a huge interest of mine. You guys know I love making beats. I love every step of the musical process for sure, but beats are my favorite. But this event and seeing those guys, how natural they make it look, it was like, it inspired me. I want I want to perform more live now.
In terms of crazy concert moments or moments during the concert, and the first big one that comes to mind is Cam, both crowd surfing and creating a mosh pit.
Yep.
Cam did it all, and it was great. I mean, upped the show.
He did.
And I didn't know about the mosh, and then when we did it, or after it happened, the bar manager's like, whoa. She like found us backstage. She's like, no more moshing. And we're like, I mean, he was the one that would do it, and he's done. So you're good. No more. It's not going to happen. Yeah. Which was funny. It was ultimately fine. I mean, it was, I guess the security risk was to the performer, but Cam made the choice, and I think he handled it, and I think he trusted the crowd. He knew he had friends in the audience, so it was ultimately fine. Mm-hmm. But I mean, other awesome moments.
I already touched on the moments where I could hear the crowd rapping my lyrics, not just singing the popular parts. I'm pretty sure at the beginning of Cuphead, it was hard to hear because I was just getting done scatting, and I was also mentally like, here we go, take a sip of this. But I'm pretty sure I heard like everybody go, take a sip of this, I'm an idiot, like, which was very cool.
I stepped aside. I tried to catch everyone's performance from the side or up in the balcony, but I stood outside for that one up until the last moment, or had to run an intermission or whatever. Mm-hmm. But the engagement on those were pretty sick. Yeah,
it was incredible, which made me happy because like I'm a little tired of some of JT Music's hits, which happens, you know, like Join Us for a Bite, Cuphead, Rap, Bendy, and the Ink Machine. But I knew like, do some crowd pleasers, because in 2019 I did like pretty popular songs, but there were ones that I wanted to do. I did Dead by Daylight, and what else did I do? Ride or Die. Yep.
And then you collabed on For Loco and Fatalities.
Yeah. Yep. Which were good ones, but no like viral hits necessarily. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe next year I'll do Sands and Papyrus, To the Bone. Probably not.
Or maybe Join Us for a Bite.
Join Us for a Bite if Andrea's here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had to do a couple. So I threw in Cuphead and Bendy as the crowd pleasers, and I had so much fun doing both of those. Yeah. Especially Bendy, because it's a very theatrical song, and even when my voice was completely shot and I couldn't sing, I just got really theatrical and weird with it.
It was good. The show as a whole is very eclectic and covered a bunch of styles, but this JT set I think hit good different types of JT music, and I think that was nice.
Yeah, no, it was definitely
I think it was really cool to see. You kind of have like you just have like rap, hip hop, trap, and then even just that, but just like the super performative like show, like I don't know. There's certain songs I feel like they're like made for the stage, you know. And so there's tons of that. There's tons of other songs. There was theatrical songs like Cuphead or the Elden Ring song Tony did. You had like kind of the pop rock kind of stuff of like DA Games and Rocket Gaming. You had just rock more so, I guess, of DA Gaming.
Party trap.
Party. And then,
that's what I call it, party trap.
Yeah, and then pop music, obviously. I was like, there's one more obvious one, and then like Addict or Addicted. I don't know the name of the song.
I think it's Addict. No, it's Addicted. I think Chi-Chi's song.
Chi-Chi's song with Will was super like club bangery. Like whenever the drop would hit, the whole building, everyone was just jumping up and down.
Oh yeah,
it was sick.
That song rips hard.
I guess I want to talk about everyone that came out artist wise, but and if you have one more thing too, please do. But one thing that I learned is it's really gratifying to hear from parents, I guess, what we do is cool, and that how much it means to them to see their kid happy. I don't know, that just hits a chord with me, and it's really cool and really gratifying, and also just really awesome to see parents out there that support what their kid likes, even if they think it is weird or they just don't whatever. But then to hear that they actually kind of like it. There's one guy, an older guy, he was there with either a kid or a grandkid, and he kept coming. He's like, this is not my thing, but this is sick. This is a good show. And they kept coming up to me, and we'd meet at the bar every now and then because probably we're on the same kind of drinking pattern or schedule or whatever. And that was really cool. That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's nice to get the props from the parents. It's like, yeah. Ooh, thunder.
But I don't know, kind of everyone we had met before, I'm looking, besides Schwabity.
Except for, Schwabity, and then there were a bunch of featured artists, and there were also some members of like the anime nerdcore community who were there, but who weren't featured, but just showed up as fans, which was cool, and got to meet a bunch of them, and they're all super
everyone was wonderful and awesome to meet. It's cool to, in terms of like broadening our horizons, who else is out there is rapping and just doing the nerdcore thing. It was much easier to meet them, and then see Twitter accounts with different avatar photos and I don't know, it just is easier to put the name to the face, especially as it's grown so much. It's more than quadrupled since we've started, and so it was really nice to meet some new people, meet some new faces. But in terms of kind of the performers that we were familiar with, and I don't know, share some awesome words about these awesome people. Obviously starting with Rocket Gaming, kind of our brothers in arms, if you will. We did this together, and Russell and Vinny have become very good friends, and we've known each other since late 2016, early 2017.
Even before that, we knew them.
Yeah, that's true. That was the first time we met them.
The first time we met them,
I'm thinking like 5 years, and it's felt like we've known them for longer. Like they feel like old friends, and we've built a very special relationship with those guys, and doing this together, and I don't know, it's truly special, and I don't take those friendships for granted with those guys. It's fun.
They've felt like brothers since we first met them in person. I remember since the first time we met them at that hotel room back in 2017 at PAX East.
Yep.
Just never an awkward moment.
No. Super awesome group of friends and families around those guys, like Russell's family and their Vinny and Russell's friends around that, and they've always, in whatever situation where I've been around, they've always pulled me in and treating me like one of their own, and it's just such a good group of people, and so it's pretty awesome.
For sure. I see you got a list of everybody who was there.
Nerd Out.
Just Ben and Nem. No Jack this year.
No, unfortunately. But I mean, Nem, a fellow North Carolinian, so we always see Nem. Always a pleasure. I don't know if it's a secret, but Nem's like one of the biggest sweethearts, like the sneaky sweetheart, I think.
He's a sneaky sweetheart.
And Ben is,
because he comes off as such a douchebag.
No, he's not a douchebag.
No, I'm just kidding.
He's very quiet. And as a quiet person, I know that can be read many ways.
Yeah.
So,
and he's just so cool.
And then his wife Kristen always comes out, and she's a lot of fun to hang around with, and Russell says a lot of crazy Russell things, and she happens to always be around with it, and is never fazed by it, which is always funny.
Yep.
And then Ben and Ben's friend John, who came out and helped with some of the performing. Skyborn, I think was his kind of online name, but his name was John. But I mean, Ben was one of the ones that came to the very, very, very first Nerdcores, and he hosted us in Nashville, and Ben's a great guy.
He's not like as big of a dork as the rest of us because he's such a hot boy.
But he's still a huge dork.
I don't want to miscategorize Ben just because he's a hot boy. But when we introduced Nerd Out, we were like, these are the hot boys. These are the cool boys of the nerdcore family. If you're sitting at their table, you're at the cool table.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben and them, they both just have this. I don't know. This, hate to sound like a douche, but a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
But they're both, despite that coolness they exude, they're not douches at all.
No.
Like, that's what I love about those boys. Those men, rather. And same with, Ben's friend, John. He was wonderful. Oh, you didn't get to talk to him. I was serious. He was all about theme parks. I wasn't joking with John. I was like, dude, you have to talk.
This is a super hard net, dude. Like,
John
you're really going in on this.
Disney. You love theme parks and all that stuff. I know that's a passion of yours. I was talking to John about it, Ben's friend, John, and I was like, oh, you got to talk to my John. He's super into it. And John, I told him, and you were like, are you just setting me up to have an awkward conversation? No, he actually was like a big Disney enthusiast.
Should have a conversation,
Next time.
And then I think your new favorite person, Rustage.
Rustage, yeah. Rustage, I see myself in him a little bit. I know as a lyricist, I came a long way from 2012 to 2016 was probably the biggest growth I had in terms of lyricism. And Dan Bull, as many of you know, was a huge inspiration for that. Not saying, I mean, Rustage told me I'm one of his inspirations, but in terms of lyricism, he's getting his inspiration somewhere else, probably from Dan. But anyways, the point being, I've seen Rustage has grown so much as an artist, and obviously he's popping off now. He's arguably probably the biggest nerdcore artist right now. He's so talented. He produces all of his own stuff. He's a jack of all trades, but a master of all trades too. He's good at everything he does, and he's still just this bright-eyed, whimsical, kind-hearted, gentle soul. He just exudes so much kindness. And when you see him performing on stage, when he's performing a collaboration, you can see him giving energy to whoever is performing on stage with him. It's really cool to watch. He's not just on stage performing to an audience. When he's done and it's somebody else's verse, he's there hyping them up and giving them energy.
That's something I noticed in the rehearsals was just the happiness, I guess, and it was like a kid at a candy shop kind of look.
Oh, he's not nervous. He's having a blast up there. So it was really inspirational to me. Not only that, but just talking to him at the event, he was talking about all these other things he's passionate about. He's creating his own card game. He DMs Dungeons and Dragons for friends. He loves history. He's a huge history buff. He was talking my ear off about history. He has all these passions outside of music that he pursues, which is really inspirational to me because I want to find some more hobbies and things that I'm interested in, like you do too. So yeah, it was just cool to see, even in 3 years, how much Rustage has grown as a person and an artist. He's truly a remarkable young man. And on top of that, we talked about a really cool collaboration idea we have with him. So
we want to make that happen.
Yeah.
And just, everything you just said and more, I think everyone there is so awesome and friendly, but there's something extra endearing about Rustage.
Yes.
There's no secret why he's blown up and made so many friends and fans along the way. Truly a special person. Really cool guy.
Yep.
Oreo. So we actually had met Oreo at MomoCon in
2019.
And it was very, very brief, kind of at a little get together at an Airbnb. But sweet. I know that one of the sweetest people you ever meet. A couple days before the event, said what flavored macaroons or macarons. I don't know how it's said.
Yeah.
You don't talk about the French little cookie things. So what flavor should I make? And everyone chimed in. And then she didn't only make macaroons, she made caricature shaped ones. And I've actually cooked them before with my girlfriend, and she prefaced it when we did it. It was these are very hard to make, and it was. And the fact that Oreo just made these for everyone and made them so intricately and they looked awesome and tasted awesome was crazy.
It was super sweet.
I think a good testament and example of how sweet and the kind of person she is.
Yeah.
But
she also had some of the best vocal runs you will ever come across at that. Oh my God. Her voice is so incredible. It's like a light voice, like a light, high angelic voice, but it packs a punch. She's got power behind that voice too, which is really cool. And such a sweet lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just awesome meeting everyone and hanging out with them more. I think having met everyone once and then kind of having more time to get to know them more is a really fun setup.
Yeah.
Got CG5.
The Siege.
Charlie.
Who needs no introduction. Charlie is just wow.
I mean, we said in our intro he's a star.
He's essentially is the pop star of nerdcore. It's incredible. His music just sounds like it should be on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, constantly making hits.
He's the Justin Timberlake of nerdcore. That's what he is.
Constantly making hits, just getting better and better. So smart too, like with the savviness of being an online content creator and knowing what's hitting and what's just reading how things go and being essentially a trend master, but also a pop star and a music master. Just all these different things that create this perfect storm of a content creator in 2022, and you know everyone's looking to him and seeing what he's doing these days, and you know it's with big reason. Awesome performance, one of the best like pitches just out of the voice box without anything, just made for a great show. Charlie had a big smile on all weekend, and it was just a true pleasure to like come across and hang out and talk with him at any moment. He's an awesome guy.
For sure. Yeah.
Zach B.
Zach B is Canada's sweetheart for a reason. I call him the Slim Shady of nerdcore because he looks calm and quiet on the surface, but he's a hell of a lyricist. And he's so quiet, and then he comes out on stage and he's up there owning it. And you know, I'm a quiet person, and I couldn't do that. But you got the eye of the tiger, and so does Zach.
Yeah. And
another person who has come so far. Sorry, what were you going to say?
You're good. Go ahead.
No, he's just come so far with his lyricism from when we first met him, formerly known as Splooge Gaming. Sorry, Zach.
A very unfortunate name.
Yeah, but Zach has come such a long way from when we first met him, and he was talented back then too, but he's, you know, just continually growing as a rapper, and such a talent, and also just such a sweetheart, a soft-spoken. He speaks softly and carries a huge lyrical stick.
Yep.
If that fits the colloquial
I think it does.
idiom. But yeah, love him. He's Canada's sweetheart. Who else we got?
We got Cameron Steady.
What a raging narcissist he is. I'm just kidding. He's even a self-proclaimed narcissist. But hey, so am I.
Yeah,
aren't we all?
We all are.
No, but Cam is such a sweetheart. We're all narcissists. You have a YouTube channel. Sorry, if you have a YouTube channel, you're a narcissist.
Yep.
If you go out in public, you're a narcissist.
I didn't communicate this as clear as I wanted to on stage, but like Cam was the first person we met in this kind of YouTube creator space.
Yeah, he was.
And so we have a lot of history with Cam. We've known him the longest. And even though we met him and we were 25 and he was like 16, he's still then he was so knowledgeable and on top of the game and the platform.
Wise beyond his years.
He still is, and you know, he just truly like something about him being the first one that we met has made seeing his career evolve kind of feel extra special to watch and feel proud about that and really supportive. And, you know, I think he's just at the beginning of something special, and it's an honor to have him be a part of the show. And, you know, to have known him so long and be so familiar, and hopefully we can get him out here to North Carolina to hang out and maybe make some projects. And,
we already talked about that. He had really kind words for us, which I should hope we responded with, because it's been really cool seeing, we keep aging ourselves, but seeing him, somebody else we knew very young, and seeing him evolve as an artist and a musician over the years is really cool. He's
re-evolve too, or whatever just truly evolve, I guess. Like evolve, we're saying for growth, but he's also truly evolved
as a person too,
and as a musician. Like he's completely reinvented himself.
And just wonderful dude, wonderful guy.
And then we got Game Boy Jones.
Game Boy Jones.
Poor Austin. So we had a trading card. We had posters made up of everyone just to hang in the venue. And I saw them. I was like, oh, these could make good trading cards. Like, I'll throw it in the loot bag. It'll be fun to have something extra in there for everyone. And the artist who had put it together was templating, which is the only way to do it. But I had forgot to change Game Boy Jones to divide music, or forgot to change divide music to Game Boy Jones. And I was packing all the loot bags, and I noticed that when I was like about 95% of the way through packing all these bags, I was like, God damn, fuck. And so I had the artist fix it, and then I rush ordered the new ones. And then at the venue, I looked at them, and I looked at them before, but I looked at it, I was like, it says Game Boy Jones. There's no E. And it's ultimately up to me for not quality checking, but I don't know.
You were doing so much already.
But I mean, Austin was super, he's super understanding. He's like, dude, if that's one of the worst things that happens, and like, hell yeah, like super cool about it. And I naturally would just be super anxious and super self-conscious and sorry and feel guilty about it. And he put it at ease and didn't let me worry about it. Yeah. But that was funny. But I mean, that's Austin. He's just super cool, understanding, laid back guy, like humble, a comforting presence, like just a good guy.
And obviously such a talent. He's also one of those people who can just command the stage. He's got the best dance moves in the game.
Yep.
And he had some of the most fun songs too, which I was like, always. Shit, I'm going right after Austin. Damn it.
He opened up the intermission.
Yeah.
And with NPC, it's not a classic show. I think there might have been it's a music concert. And usually the opening act is kind of just there to stem the tide or whatever when people come in. But that's not the case with NPC.
Yeah.
Like if you're opening, it's because you're fucking dope and you can bring the crowd into it.
Get people hyped up.
And the way the show's formatted, people are going to be there. There's no slow filtering in. Like people are there for the show start. Yeah. And so Swabity and Austin were given those roles and did exactly that.
They got the ball rolling.
They set the tone perfectly. Yeah. And so much so that people are like, why are they your opening act? They're fucking awesome. It's like, well, first of all, everyone's fucking awesome. It's just the high energy people, this is where we're putting them strategically because they're going to do just that. And that's what they did. And that's what they're great at. And I mean, naturally carry over to Swabity. The only person kind of on the billing, if that's what we want to call it, that we hadn't met before, and wonderful guy. We just didn't have that like little extra head start of meeting him before, so it took us a second to get familiar and him to get familiar with us. But once we kind of opened up and hung out, awesome guy and like hell of a performer.
Yeah,
it was really cool to see just kind of people turn it on. Like during the rehearsal. Yeah, I'm gonna check that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we just got some mail, so he's gonna check on the mail. They probably just dropped something and ran away. But yeah, the Schwabster was another great addition to the Nerdcore family, to the NPC family.
It wasn't originally.
I didn't get to talk to him as much as I would have liked to, but I
chatted for a little bit on the at the after party. I wish I didn't talk about it, but the after party was an after party, very late at night, but a lot of fun. Yeah, it was just a good way to let loose and just celebrate. But yeah, talked with him a little bit that night, and just super responsive and professional in terms of communication. There's a lot of wrangling of people, but with Mark, always fast reply, always got the thing that needed, and that is so appreciated. The hardest thing about this event was wrangling people, and when someone can make it easy, that's super appreciated. So, I mean,
shout out to the Schwab.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Neebs Gaming.
Thick
Tony,
44.
Thick 44.
Our homie Thick 44 might just be, first of all, you guys know him. You guys love him. He's been on our channel a bunch. We've been on his. He is probably, I would say, the bravest person at this event. As many people know, Tony is in a battle with a rare form of brain cancer. But he's still trucking. He's still obviously still making content with his YouTube channel. Came out for this event with his amazing girlfriend who we adore. It was great to have her there. But yeah, Tony getting on stage and still performing his songs, even, you know, with the situation. And I gotta say, if I were in his shoes, I don't know if I can honestly say I don't know if I would have the courage to do that. So easily the bravest guy out there in the NPC set list, in my opinion.
It was awesome to see him out there.
Yep.
He didn't miss a beat. I mean, he was Tony on stage, you know, and you know, he's a actor, you know, by trade going back, and it showed on stage, and just tons of just character and just that kind of big dick 44 energy that he carries, and that was a fun ripple to the show. And you know, good friend from Wilmington, from our former hometown. He used to play PUBG all the time and golf all the time, so it's good to be back together with Tony, and to see him do his thing on stage was really cool. Really cool.
How many more do we have? Let's see, who's next? Chi-Chi. The Cheechster.
Colloquially known as the Cheech. Never been called that.
Chi-Chi is such a sweetheart. Just having conversation with her just brightened up the moment every time she was around. She's so sweet.
Positive, like full of hugs and support, and like would check on people. Like just people, like whoever would be like, "Are you doing okay?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And, all right, here's a hug, and I don't know, just very supportive and very, very positive and very understanding, very comforting. Just a lot of awesome things. I think Russell said it, like, because Russell hadn't met her before, but he's like, I think I just met my new favorite person, and I think that kind of sums up what it's like to meet her. And she's an awesome person. Tons of character on stage. Brought a whole flair of personality on stage. I love the dancing.
Very theatrical.
So fun.
Yeah. No, she was the same person we met at MomoCon in 2019. Just instantly a charmer, and great addition. And
then we got Will DA Games.
I love that man. That man is, I think, the funniest person at NPC. He can crack me up so hard, and had some good talks with him about just like battling your own demons and like battling your resentments for like the songs that get really popular that you don't expect to get popular, that you like harbor weird artistic resentments towards, and like just had some good, you know, melodramatic, artistic, artsy talk with him just about that stuff.
It was a true pleasure to see Will again, and we've seen him a few times before, but he seemed really good, really happy, and I don't know, just the happiest I've seen him. And I think it reflects too on what we see out there with his work, and
for sure,
and everything he's putting out. I mean, he makes me laugh. Dude, I don't know.
He's so funny. He's such a funny dude.
He's hilarious. I mean, him performing that song on stage was just one of the funniest things.
When he came out
just
to speak,
the context, and
he was just like, hello.
He was like, I didn't see, like, I knew he walked over to the karaoke party with us, or the karaoke bar, but there's a lot of people, and then you can kind of forget who's with the group if you don't see them. But he just comes up on stage out of nowhere at like the 11th hour, literally like one of the last karaoke songs, and just blasts this song, and it's so funny. We have Divide and Bone Cage. I grouped them together because they were
hanging out.
They were buddies
time.
all weekend. You know, if you looked for one, you would have seen the other. Just the most friendly guys, and they're probably going to come down to Raleigh together to come hang out with us, and that'll be fun. They're just, I think, as as out of the nerdcore kind of thing, I think they're most on our wavelength and our speed, and I think that's why we both get along with them so well. Is they're just, I mean, they're they're homebodies who like to chill, and they're pretty low key guys like us. I mean, and they're just good old pals,
and just happen to be immensely talented songwriters and producers. We were saying Alex has like the best inspirational music. Jeff is just a wild card with his music. Also hilarious.
And
legends.
Hope to see them perform next year. I didn't hear from them.
I think they were pretty inspired too, right? And
then Leon,
DPS, Daddy Fat Snaps. Father Fat Snaps.
What a star! What a celebrity!
He really was like the unsung celebrity.
Yeah.
He didn't perform this year, but I think he did.
He came out on stage, and he kind of twerked for a little bit too.
He twerked, so I think he definitely also got inspired to perform next year.
I think he'll be on stage next year. I'm pretty sure. I imagine. I mean, he said as much.
What an absolute beefcake he is. He's like this. I said this multiple times, but he is the size that like he's so huge and he's so muscular. He used to be a bodybuilder and he's getting back into it. And he is big enough to be my mech suit. I could step inside of him. He's that big. Gave him a hug and I was like, he could kill me right now if he wanted to.
Such a friendly guy.
Oh,
and just
love him.
Also a charmer. And
yeah.
There's the apocalypse outside right now with the rain,
it's like
and
raining.
sirens.
There's sirens going on.
And then last but not least, we got DeHusta, who was on stage all 4 hours, DJing and being the comforting presence on stage for everyone.
Yeah.
He had the cool kind of what's that French band? Daft Punk kind of like DJ helmet on, which really added to the kind of production behind stage and the light shining through the darkness. It looked cool. It definitely added a whole cool ripple to the show. He was there wrangling and making sure everyone's good with mics. And there was a crazy moment where the laptop running the show was almost dead, and so they got that taken care of. And that was just like they plugged it in. Russell and Dallin DeHusta plugged it in, but it was just a dead outlet. But you plug it in, you move on. Like the full battery, easy thing to forget. But he caught that, and that's a good thing. He caught that.
Yeah.
And not a single hiccup either, like making sure the right song was on deck with that helmet too, like flawlessly executed on his part.
So well done. The only person who messed up what song it was this guy, because I was like, oh, next up is a BioShock song, but it was a Doom song, but Dallin was playing it in the right order. I'm just a dingus. So yeah, he did an incredible job.
Also not billed, but Chewy Cat lives in the same city as us now that we do not live in. Such a cool guy.
Another one of the most humble guys in the Nerdcore family, and he brought some of his family with him, and who were wonderful. His sister-in-law and his brother.
Yep, and they were also stars of the show. Everyone loved them. They were just such like comforting, familiar presences for everyone.
Yeah.
They were awesome. They were all great to have there, and it's super cool that they live in the same city as us. So that's like and keep seeing them, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then also Breton Boy, Connor Quest, awesome guys, super talented.
I got to meet Ham Sandwich briefly too, and Mir, and who are people from the Nerdcore anime community.
Yeah. There's a bunch more that I don't know off the top. There's just so many new faces.
There were a lot of new faces, but those were some of the new ones, and they performed as well.
Yeah.
So
everyone that showed up was amazing, and I think we sat here praising everyone one by one for 25 minutes, but it felt good. It felt right. I just wanted to share my appreciation for everyone and let you guys know that these people are wonderful people, and you're the people you support and put time into are great people, and we'll vouch that. Like, if that helps make it a much better experience for you, or I don't know, it's just they're good people, and they deserve your support. Yeah. And if anyone we mentioned you haven't heard or listened to before, I recommend go do it. Almost forgot, Jack, CK9C.
Oh, of course, yes, CK9C.
Awesome.
We got to meet his fursona, who is Aria. She was very bashful around me. But he was joking with us what our fursonas would be if we had fursonas. Yeah. I said I would be an otter.
Chi-Chi said I'd be a moose.
Be a moose, which is perfect because we're from Maine, and you're also moose-like because you're big and you're gentle. But if you had to, you could gore somebody with your antlers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
But yeah, Jack's awesome. Always comes out with the coolest performances and just super dynamic songs.
Yeah, his songs are super dynamic.
Yeah.
Like and very like electronic theatrical, which is just very cool. They're very theatrical, and he performs them perfectly.
Yeah. I forgot about when the suit's on, it's Aria.
Yeah.
And so I was interacting with Jack, but it wasn't Jack, but I also knew the faces. I was like, I never interacted with a furry before.
Yeah.
So I guess
we're an eclectic group.
Yeah. It's really cool. I mean, that's what I love about this lineup is everyone's so similar and like-minded and gets well so long, but also everyone's so different. And I think that's really special and unique. And
we got the best.
I think that's a good thing we got going on here, and I can't wait for the next year. And as far as next year, as we wrap this up, next year we'll start announcing and start planning it. I'm going to start looking at some venues coming up soon. We're going to get materials put together of the show so that we can show venues and then show sponsors so we can grow this show. I think this thing went way more successful than any of us could have hoped, and I think it's going to allow the next year's show to be that much, not easier, but we'll have the resources in a way that'll make it easier to put together. And and frankly, the buy-in is as an all-time high because it had faded after 2 years and 2 postponements, but now everyone's in. I think
momentum continues. Yeah.
So, but that's Nerdcore PartyCon 2022 Chicago in review. I think that's almost everything.
Yeah. Hopefully in about a year we're talking about NPC 2023 and it's even bigger and better.
Yeah.
And you were there.
Yes. Don't miss it.
Watching this.
Don't miss it.
Yeah.
But bye.
We love you. Goodbye.